Hello and welcome to another episode of UC Chronicles. I'm Abhishek and I'll be the host for today's episode. Our guest today is Lieutenant Sukumar Rao from the 1984 batch of Mechanical Engineering. Sir has served the Indian National Navy in the past and is currently an entrepreneur. Let's hear a first-hand introduction from himself.
Good morning, UVC. I did a short service commission in the Navy. It is 7 years, but I saw the world. That's how my journey has been. And it is really, I love this session. And I thank Mr. Fauzan, Nitin and Abhishek who are here with me today and taking my interview. Okay, it is lovely to be, most of the time these days, I do the interviews. And now being on the other side of the mic, it's a great to have this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Sir, you had a brief career in the Navy. Could you please tell us a bit more about your experience in the Navy?
To put the statistics in straight, I belong to the last of the 5-year engineering batches. It is 1984. So after that, it became 4 years integrated Navy course. So ours was the 10 semesters, 5 years engineering. So you can see when we passed out, there are 2 batches came out together. So every other person you meet in the KR circle was an engineer that year. But luckily for me, the Navy came to our college for the campus interview. That was one of the rare occasions. So a few of us landed in that room to see how exactly this process was. Even the campus interviews were very rare those days. So we just met these people. And a few of us got selected straight away because we used to get the stipend of certain amount for the rest of our period in the college. So that was the plus point. And this was not a selection as such. It is only earmarking. So after our graduation, you go through the service selection board. That is a matter of a week you spend in. There are 3 service selection boards. One is in Bhopal, one is in Allahabad, and another is in Bangalore. I was fortunate to be in Bhopal because Bangalore is considered as a rejection center, not a selection center usually. Most of the guys used to be rejected here. In my batch, there were around 50 people who came for the SSB, Service Selection Board, and 3 of us got selected. And out of that, another Bangalore guy didn't join. So only 2 of us, a friend of mine who graduated from IIT Kharagpur, and myself, 2 of us joined the Navy. That is the selection process as such.
Sir, you said the Navy came to the college for campus interview. Could you please tell us a bit more about the selection process, the training period, how it was?
See, Navy looks into your group activities, how exactly you behave yourself in a group, a leadership quality. They don't bother much about your academic excellence or something. So the selection doesn't go through your marks cards. It is mainly the Service Selection Board, SSB, where you put through the lot of group activities. So wherein you can, or the group, the person who is interviewing you will find out how exactly you behave yourself when you are put in a group. That is where the leadership quality comes up. And that is what the Navy or the Defense Force wants from you. So this is a very rigorous, it may look very simple when you attend that group activity, but once you go through that, you will find yourself that how you are, in what way you are different from others. And every day, end of the day in the group activities, a chit passes through in that group that according to each of one of us, who will be get selected. And that is, we always aim to get our name in that list. And I was fortunate that I was always on the top of the list throughout that selection process. That is how you go about.
Yeah, could you please share us about your memories in the Navy?
This memories will take quite a day if I have to go through that, but I briefly will tell you how exactly my life has been in the Navy. So soon after our service selection board, you get an appointment letter and all, you join the Navy and you go to the Naval Academy. That is a 6 months process. What they do is undo whatever you have learned so far. Okay, that is the Naval Academy. That is, you have quite a lot of ego package with you that I'm an engineer and how I need to be treated and all that. That is broken in that 6 months. Okay. On the day one itself, you start rolling. That is the process. You don't walk in the academy. You roll on the streets of the academy. Okay. That is the first thing they do there in the academy. So this 6 months, it is every day ends and thinking that why I'm still in this academy, and the answer from everybody is, I have seen the worst. What will come next? That's why I'm here the next day. So that's how the academy life is. It's very tough. Even after through the having Navy selected you for that, to be selected into the Navy, after joining the academy also 10% of the candidates leave because they can't go through the rigorous training process. So this has been once you go through this Naval Academy, you go to the ships for your boiler watchkeeping certificates. Because earlier, most of the vessels were boiler driven, power propulsion systems. So you go to the boiler watchkeeping certificate for 6 months. You earn that ticket to be qualified as an engineer officer in the Navy. After the watchkeeping certificate, you come back to the Naval Academy, Naval Engineering course, which is in Lonavala, INS Shivaji, and you complete your marine engineering specialization course. So once you are qualified as a marine engineer, then you get appointed on the ships as a senior engineer or a deputy engineer, that kind of a positions. So, but I choose submarines at that time. Navy asked for a selection. Would you like to go for specialization in other branches of the Navy, whether it is aviation branch or the submarine course, etc. So if you're a normal surface ship specialized, then you go through the process of, as I said, a senior engineer and deputy, and then you become a commandery as a head of the engineering department. Maybe it will take 10 years of your course in the Navy. But I selected submarine because as soon as I specialize in submarine, I'll become the engineer officer of my department. I'll be heading the engineering department. With that idea, I choose submarines.
Okay, so our audience would like to know how your experience was working in the submarines underwater.
Yes, submarines you must have seen in the movies and all that, because not many people will have the opportunity to go into the submarine and see how exactly the compartments are made, and how exactly you can visualize how the life in a submarine is. Submarine life is tough. It is not for the common man. It is not that I am bragging about having gone through the submarine process or something. It is a tube with totally engineering, equipments all around. You find your way through these things. There is nothing as a comfortable life in a submarine. The submarine is meant to be silent. It is meant to be compact. It is meant to be underwater. So those people who are not afraid to be claustrophobic, those who can live away from the world for maybe 30 to 45 days and live in the very claustrophobic atmospheres, they only will get adjusted to a submarine life. Another thing I'll tell you, in a submarine, once you dive, for the next 45 days or till you come back to the shore, we don't take bath. Water is precious. Water is meant to be only for drinking and cooking purposes. So that has the life is like.
That was really interesting. After your career in the Navy, you decided to come back and start a new career as an entrepreneur and starting your own business. Could you please tell us a bit more about how that transition was?
That's a good question. So one more thing I would like to add is, once I got, specialized in the submarine, I opted for a super specialization in the nuclear submarines too. and served in India's first nuclear submarine INS Chakra also. So I have seen almost the good part of the Navy and worked with all these environments. Then I thought, let me take a break. I had a certain family commitment to come out of the Navy. I didn't sign for the permanent commission. So after my 7 years tenure in the Navy, I came out, and then I started my corporate career or something. My main aim was always to be an entrepreneur. So I started with one of my engineering batchmates. We started a small scale industry. The name was Techno Control Engineering, and we started manufacturing control relays and control panels for ABB. We started our ancillary unit for ABB. Along with that, we started taking outside orders for the electrical industries. So we had a good time for almost 4-5 years. So we started in 1993, and till 1998 I was an entrepreneur in this fashion. But 1998 the recession hit us very badly. So then we decided to come out of this what you call partnership, and I went back to the merchant navy. So I worked with the shipping company called Shahi Shipping. So I worked for 4-5 years. We are the bulk carriers for rock phosphate and sulfur to the FACT, Fertilizer and Chemicals Travancore, located in Cochin. So till 2022, I was working for the shipping industry, and then I thought this life would like to change for something else. I wanted to come back to Bangalore since my family was located here, and I came back to Bangalore and then started my, I was always wanted to do my farming activities. I love farming. So I bought around 6 acres of land near Yelahanka and started my vineyard there. So I started growing grapes. So from 2002 to 2006, I was totally engrossed with this activity of mine, which very close to my heart, and loved that. But the problem was the rate of return on these agriculture activities was not matching my expectations. So I wanted to do something else where my financial needs also can be taken care of. And that's why I switched out my corporate career. I joined a facility management company called Sanjay Maintenance Services in 2006. And I'm sticking to that, kind of a industry from that day onwards.
That was really interesting. Working in the Navy, you probably experienced the utmost human discipline, punctuality, rigor, and all that. Could you please tell our audience how that has helped you after coming back to Bangalore and starting your own business? Like how that discipline, rigor, and how has that helped? And what's your message for students who are looking to be more disciplined, punctual, and all that?
You see, discipline part gets drilled into you when you are in the Navy. You don't have to learn it. You either learn it in a good way or the bad way, but everybody learns it. Because the joke going around in the Navy, if two of you from the same, if I say a friend of mine, I was lucky to be having one of my course mate from BMS college, one Mr. Rangachari was also my course mate. So both of us were initially during my watchkeeping certificate time, we were working in INS Ganga, one of the frigates of the Indian Navy. So one of the seniors asked, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Bangalore." So when they asked Rangachari, where is he from? He said, "Bangalore." So he said, "Okay, you are place types." So at that time, I didn't know what exactly is a place type. I just asked him, "What exactly is place type?" He said, "When two of you disgrace the same place, it is called, place type." That is how nobody talks in fine language or the, sugar-coated language in the defense forces. It is always, they have their own way of communicating, and you learn always in the tough way. And anything you learn in tough way gets into you for permanency. So this is the way with the discipline also. I'm fortunate to be, having, you get only one opportunity of life to going to this defense forces. That is soon after your graduation. You can't do that after working somewhere or having another career in the first place and joining. It is impossible. So my advice for anybody listening to this broadcast would be that if you have an opportunity, please go and join this armed forces for once. Navy, Army, or the Air Force also gives you this opportunity of short service commission too. You can see and learn, adopt quite a lot of good things from these defense forces, the life in the defense forces, which will becoming really good to be a kind of beacon for you for your life ahead. Once you are in the out of the defense forces or the uniform services, anywhere, if you say that, when I go and introduce myself as Lieutenant Sukumar, it is like half the battle won. People will weigh you in a different scale. They will not treat you like somebody else. That is the biggest advantage. And it is again the same way for the people working with you in your team also. Once they know that the team leader is from the defense forces, they will give the 100% of their commitment to you. So it is either way, your battle will be always in your side.
Yeah, so sir, you advised the students to take up armed forces. So could you please tell us a bit more about how the opportunities are for specifically engineers who want to get into armed forces?
Nowadays, in the print media and other forms of media, there are advertisements coming, full-page advertisements, how exactly you can join the Navy, both short service commission and permanent commissions. So those who are completing their graduation in the engineering branch, they have to go through that same process of applying for those things. So nowadays, in many places, you will find kind of a practical courses are also being conducted for those people who are interested in joining the defense forces, to guide them through the service selection board activities also. But I find that those who are having a balanced mind and having inclination towards going into these defense forces, they will find it very easy. It is not that tough. It is always thinking how exactly I can help my group to go through a particular situation. That will help you in going through the service selection boards. So these are the advertisements only. Be looking into these paper advertisements that will give you a kind of a way ahead how exactly to join the armed forces.
That was really interesting and insightful. That's it for today. Thanks for joining with us.
I would like to say my gratitude and thanks to these youngsters who have come to my office today and joined me. And it's a pleasure to be a part of these activities being carried out by the UVC Graduate Association as well as the present student community of UVC. I would like to wish every one of you, those who are studying in UVC, a great future and a great career for yourself. Jai Hind.